My name is Susan. I have a husband, Mark, who has a younger sister that he absolutely adores. Perhaps because of the age gap and the fact that she was weak when she was little, my husband has always doted on his little sister. It seems that my parents-in-law also wanted to be a cute girl, and she grew up splendidly selfish, and when I got married, it was rough. She made quite a scene during our wedding, wanting to wear a dress herself and insisting she should be the one to cut the cake with my husband. She even tried to convince our parents to cancel the wedding. Despite all this, I was young and thought it would all be okay as long as she wasn't nearby, so I went ahead with the marriage. In hindsight, perhaps I should have reconsidered. I'm just coming over to hang out. Let me stay the night. Tomorrow, you will show me the sights. Sightseeing? But she lives in the next city over, doesn't she? Besides, both you and I have work tomorrow, and we haven't prepared for an overnight guest. It's no big deal. I'll take a day off and take her around. Indeed, he'd even take time off work, just for her. Even after our marriage, my husband's doting on his sister didn't stop. Every weekend she would come over, eat lunch and dinner with us, and then stay the night. One time, she found the estimate I had hidden for a trip and said, "You're going on a trip, big bro? I want to come too." And he just said, "Well, can't be helped. I'll pay for it." So she ended up coming on our trip too, which of course made me very angry. It caused a huge fight after she left. "I can't believe you! That estimate was for our honeymoon." "But you shouldn't have left it somewhere she could find it." "And how is it inside the shelf of my private desk an easy-to-find place?" "Well, she found it, so there's nothing we can do about it now." "We're canceling the trip then." "But you were so excited about it." "Well, now I'm not." "She's going to be so upset." "Fine. Why don't you two go then? The estimate covers 2 people anyway." "You're right. We'll do that." And he really did go on the trip with just his sister. And he paid for all of it. This was the only time I thought about divorcing. But I didn't think about divorce because I thought I couldn't do it unless there was something bigger. When they came back from the trip, she said, "That was fun. Here's the laundry, Susan. Why do I have to wash your clothes? You're the sister-in-law, right? So you wash them." I don't know what she means by so, but that's just how it is. This is the state of affairs for everything. "I wish you would say something, dear." "No, Amanda's weak. She couldn't handle it." If she's so weak that she can't handle household chores, I don't think she should be traveling. When I said that sarcastically, my husband replied, "Well, you should have come with us then. Right? It's your fault for being stubborn and not coming." Suddenly, I was the one being blamed. It's normal for a newlywed couple not to want the sister-in-law tagging along on their honeymoon, but to these two, it seemed I was the odd one out for not wanting to join their super fun trip. Indeed, you missed out. They joyously talked about their adventure, leaving me out. My sister-in-law, Amanda, was always hanging around my husband, and after several years of our marriage, she finally got married herself. Amanda's husband lived far away, so we were pleased about the upcoming marriage because it would create some distance between us. After Amanda got married, the visits she used to make suddenly disappeared, and we were having the first peaceful time since our marriage. Then, Amanda had a baby girl. We, my husband and I, celebrated the birth, and it seemed like we were finally able to have a normal relationship with our in-laws. But then, my husband brought Amanda and our niece home. "From today, we're taking care of these two. We'll provide for all their needs, so I hope you're okay with that." "What? Why? What happened to her husband?" "Apparently, he was having an affair, and when she confronted him, he became violent, so she fled. She's planning on divorcing him, but she doesn't have a place to stay, right? We have spare rooms, so I thought it's a good idea." "This is temporary, right?" "Of course not. It's for good. Amanda never worked a day in her life. We can support her." I was getting dizzy. I knew he adored his sister, but I didn't expect this. What does Amanda think about this? I can't work because of my health, and I've been a stay-at-home mom, so I can't live any differently. So you don't plan on leaving? You want to abandon a single mother? Besides, you don't have any children. Consider this a trial run. I burst out laughing. Until now, I had thought that divorce would not be possible without a lot of trouble. But the moment I realized that this was a lot of trouble, I thought that I could get a divorce, and laughter welled up. What's so funny? You're creeping me out. Have you lost your mind? Maybe I have. Well, that's how it is, so deal with it. Alright, you two can use my room. Seeing my apparent agreement, my husband smiled in relief, but I added, alright, so I'm getting a divorce. He looked shocked. What? That way, you'll have an extra room, and you can take care of Amanda and her daughter all you want. Yes, if I divorce, my room will become available, and my sister-in-law can continue to be a housewife as she has been doing so far. I can find someone else to do the housework. It's no different from supporting me. All I'm doing is divorcing and moving out of the house. What? Then who's going to do the housework? Amanda, you're a housewife, right? How about you do it? That's what being a housewife is about, right? Why should I? I didn't ask for this. Well, neither did I. So we're in the same boat, aren't we? Saying this, I returned to my room and began to pack my belongings. You're telling me I have to support us alone? Of course. Did you claim you could support us knowing you couldn't? Faced with this, my husband's face became tight. Seems like that's true, huh? But I won't have anything to do with it anymore. We can discuss the rest later. Saying this, I left the house in the middle of the night. I got a hotel and contacted my parents. My parents were shocked at the unexpected call in the middle of the night, but they understood when I explained the situation, telling me I could return home tomorrow. Calls kept coming in from my husband and my sister-in-law on my cell phone, but it was too noisy, so I turned off the phone and went to sleep. When I woke up in the morning, there were a mountain of voicemail and emails. The general content was, I'm sorry for the sudden change. I'm waiting for your call. Sorry for the sudden request, but I have nowhere to go as I've also run away. Please come back. Please listen to what I have to say. Alongside these pleas were messages like, stop sulking and come back. I won't be responsible for your belongings. You're my brother's wife, so you better not defy me. Come back soon and make dinner, okay? Threatening emails like this, and even some with violent language, had come in. I copied all of them and got them printed out at a convenience store on the way back to my parents' house. When I arrived at my parents' house, they greeted me, saying, Why did you put up with this for so long? You should have come back sooner. Absolutely. You are going to divorce him, right? They were even angrier than I was. I had been worried about being scolded or being told that divorcing over something like this was an overreaction. But my anxiety and tension were released, and I broke down, crying. I explained everything that had happened. How I had reached my breaking point when my husband brought home my sister-in-law and niece. They suggested that I should first contact my in-laws. After all, since I had left, I had not heard anything from my in-laws. It made me wonder, why hadn't my doting sister-in-law returned to her parents' house, despite being cheated on? I decided to ask. When I went to visit my parents-in-law, it seemed that my sister-in-law's husband, Christopher, was also there. I explained that my sister-in-law and niece were currently living with my husband, that I had rejected this, and ran away to my parents' house. I see. So Amanda said that. Is that not true? I didn't expect Christopher to do such a thing, though. The one having an affair is Amanda. We even have evidence. I see. I understood after hearing from my sister-in-law's husband. She wouldn't be able to go to her parents-in-law's house then. I understand we have spoiled her, but I didn't expect it to go this far. I'm really sorry for causing trouble to Susan, too. Then it occurred to me. I wondered if my husband knew the truth and was hiding it. Actually, I think my husband knew and brought her home on purpose. I believe so. Amanda often said she was going to visit your husband on the days she was cheating, and we received photos of them dining together. But since you weren't in the photos, we grew suspicious and found out she was having an affair. It seems my sister-in-law used my husband as an alibi. With that in mind, I decided to draw out the two who seemed to still be hiding from my in-laws. I sent a single email to my husband. After thinking it over, I feel sorry for Amanda who was cheated on, and I think I should hear her out one more time. I'll come home tonight, so please wait for me. Deciding just to send that, I plan to go to my house at night, bringing my sister-in-law's husband and my in-laws. I had my sister-in-law's husband wait at the front door and rang the bell. When I rang the bell, I could hear the sound of someone rushing to the front door. As I opened the front door and said, "I'm home," both my sister-in-law and husband came out. "You're late. Are you going to make dinner?" "I'm hungry." "Finally, you're back." The house was so messy that there was barely any room to step. It was hard to believe it had only been left unattended for a day. Seeing this, my mother-in-law pressed her temples. My father-in-law turned red-faced. My sister-in-law and husband, who had made it to the front door, turned pale-faced. And I was amused at the contrast. Why are Dad and Mom here? And why is Christopher here too? Well, I thought it would be hard to take care of everything on my own. And don't you think it's better if we get some help from your parents? I wasn't told Mom and Dad would be here. And Christopher too. You're causing trouble, even for your sister-in-law. What do you want to do? But having an affair is different. What? Amanda, you were cheating. Feigning surprise, I received a glare from my sister-in-law. Did you know? When I looked at my husband, he was mumbling something, but he did not deny it. It seemed he knew about the affair. So, you knew, lied about it, and planned to have me take care of her. Well, she's family, so you would trust Amanda, right? You were trying to make me do that? But if she went to in-law's parents' house, you would definitely blame Amanda. She's a stranger to me. When I replied that, my sister-in-law said, "But I wasn't cheating. I was with my brother." I spoke with Christopher and saw the photos, but I don't know anything about it. Rather, you two were having meals together. We haven't been dining out for a while. No, it's not like that. I didn't know about the affair, and she just asked me to take pictures to create an alibi. So please, don't divorce me. Wait, brother! At this point, it seemed he realized he misspoke, but it was too late. My husband, who had confessed to creating an alibi, had a face of regret. With that, the alibi is hopeless. Your parents heard everything, you know. No, that was my brother. It's futile. There's plenty of evidence besides the alibi. I'm going to get a divorce. No way. The husband of the sister-in-law pulled out documents from the bag he had. Out they came, plenty of evidence stuffed full into a brown envelope. Then, he took out an IC recorder, which seemed to have recorded our current conversation. It seems it also recorded the fact that my husband was aiding in the fabrication of an alibi. I'll be asking for a divorce too. No, there's no need for a divorce. Why do you think I could live with a person who knew about the affair and covered for it? Even if such a person exists, I can't. Let's get divorced. No, no way. The mother-in-law broke down crying pathetically. The father-in-law was about to hit someone, but he was desperately holding back, and his clenched fists were trembling. Then they turned to me and bowed their heads, saying, "We will strictly supervise this child. We will take care of Sarah until everything is over. Susan, we are sorry for the trouble." The sister-in-law, whose alibi had collapsed, was disheartened and kneeled down, and my husband, who seemed to have given up, stood frozen on the spot. After that, the sister-in-law and her husband divorced. My husband and I also divorced. When we divorced, the IC recorder borrowed from the sister-in-law's husband was submitted. I received a small alimony, and my short married life came to an end. The custody of the niece was handed over to the sister-in-law's husband, and I was relieved. The sister-in-law and husband seemed to be living under the supervision of their parents, and the luxurious and arrogant life was forbidden for them, and they seemed to be living a tough life. Since then, I have occasionally been in touch with the sister-in-law's husband and have been allowed to see my niece. Thank you for that time. The sister-in-law's husband bowed his head. No, I didn't do anything special. I waved my hand back and forth to deny it, but the sister-in-law's husband shook his head and said, Actually, I was worried about whether I could get custody of my daughter. Custody is easier for the mother to get, and it seems that the father has a low chance of getting it unless there is a significant reason. Even though Amanda cheated on you? She's still young. It's difficult unless she can make her own decisions. But I thought I could definitely get it if there was the fact of cheating, and that the person who was involved in it will live with us at my wife's parents' house from now on. It seems that whether the fact that my husband was involved in the fabrication of the alibi could be confirmed or not was the key to whether or not he could get custody. So, I was able to get custody because Susan recognized the fact of the alibi at that time. I'm glad. It seems that Sarah can live safely. It seems that my niece will live at the sister-in-law's husband's house from now on. I am currently living at home, and I am about to move back to living alone. I can't always rely on my parents. After all, I should trust my instincts. I should have called off the marriage then. I've had enough.